The mirrors were cracked. It was very, very poor, but every bed was made. I didn't go into one house where the bed wasn't made. They didn't expect me. Yes, can I go in? They said, fine. These are beautiful people. And then if you go out in the street of Havana, they used to have, they did have boom boxes. And they would play music, the Latin music, which is so infectious, very, very loud. And it would go, and it wasn't air conditioning, it would go out through the neighborhoods. So when you were walking in the street and they were selling whatever, you were dancing. So it's a city with joy. It isn't a city of sadness, even today. Because you have to have humor, you have to have fun, you have to have, look, we're only here once. We gotta have fun. So a city has fun. So the music is radiating through those neighborhoods. So I said, this is the kind of city that should be preserved. So the purpose of this book, Havana Forever, is to try to elevate in people's minds the greatness of this city, and with the hope that maybe it'll be preserved. Now, I got to be honest, the chances are very slim. The forces of destruction are very great. And I've lived through a lot of cities, very few. There's occasional, like San Francisco, more or less will be preserved. Because it's a city of neighborhoods. It's a city of little pubs, and people have coffee houses, and people love their city. I remember, let's see, in Australia, in Sydney, they built this beautiful opera house, but they also had an expressway that went through the city, like ours does here in Miami, and they have a movement to take down the expressway, because it was destroying the city. And so there are cities in the world, we mentioned Barcelona, Vienna, Paris, London, that are beautiful cities because they reflect these beautiful people. So the book is dedicated not only to Felipe's memory, but to the people of Havana and the citizens of Havana that made it great over hundreds and hundreds of years. This isn't just an occurrence. It was a wealthy city because, and we talk about it in the book, because of some luck and some circumstance. Number one, during the time of exploration, the currents in the Atlantic flowed in a clockwise direction. And there was only two things that made you come on a sailing ship, and that's the current and the wind. Nothing else. The currents in the Atlantic current goes clockwise, and the winds go clockwise, and you end up in the Caribbean. So the early explorers didn't go to Cape Cod and become pilgrims. They came to the Caribbean. Barbados had 120,000 people when New York City had less than 20,000. So the Caribbean was where the action was. And Cuba was the largest. And then the Spanish were exploiting gold and silver from Mexico and Peru, raping the countries, and taking their loot back to Havana, where they would get convoys to go across the Atlantic. Some of that rubbed off. So Havana became a very rich city with shipbuilding. And then it had another good fortune of having good soil. So they could grow very good crops. And what did they grow? They grew sugar cane. From sugar cane you can make rum, and they grew tobacco. Those three items are addictive. So the world got addicted to rum, to sugar, and tobacco. And the wealth flowed into Havana. But instead of destroying their paradise, they had, as you said, a public spirit. Some of the harsh dictators, so they all wanted a beautiful city. And at the turn of the 19th to 20th century, when colonial Spain left, there was a great patriotic feeling. Let's make this new republic one of the most beautiful, one of the most gorgeous, one of the nicest places, not for myself, but we'll build a capital that's world class, and we'll build the President's Palace, and we'll build all these beautiful buildings, the clubs, the Spanish clubs, the Prado, and all these beautiful boulevards and plazas, because they wanted a great city. And somehow it happened. And now it's frozen as a great city, with poverty, with decay, but that, in the long run of history, can be corrected. But the question is still, will it be preserved? So I'm honored that Jaime asked me to be here, that Carlos Alberto spoke so beautifully, that Raul is here, and Felipe's widow's here. And I'm just going to end by not only thanking you, but I'll show you a few photographs of the, so you can sit back, just think of what you heard, think about your hometown, and try to just mentally enjoy the beauties of a beautiful city. So with that, we'll turn out the lights before we start. We're going to turn the lights, and then we'll get, can we turn the back lights out too, please? But wait till the lights go out, and then we'll start. No, all the lights.